Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today's video isn't an Update Thursday video, it isn't a Hardcore Ironman video, and it's not a Runescape video, so finally we're back to a bit more diversity on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys 8 different ways to make money as a level 3. Now all of these methods are pay-to-play methods, however if you guys would like to see a free-to-play version of this, let me know in the comments and don't forget to drop a like on the video as well. Now out of the 8 methods I'm going to show you guys, I would say that only 1 or 2 of them are good enough to do for longer than a couple of hours. The methods I am going to show you guys are mainly for those people who are looking to get some nice starter cash as a level 3. Almost every method I'm going to show you guys has absolutely no requirements other than a bit of running around the world map at times. Don't forget guys that this is a video on how to make money as a level 3 account with no requirements. So the money per hour here isn't going to be absolutely insane. We're not talking 1 million plus GP per hour, though a couple of the methods have the potential for it. It's not going to happen with every single method. Again, like I already said, these methods are mainly for people who just want to make some starter cash as a level 3 just so they have some money in the bank. Now the first thing that everybody should do on their account first off is the Stronghold of Security, because if you guys complete the first 3 floors of the Stronghold, you guys will get 10,000 GP, which is very important for some of these methods I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to assume that you guys have all done the Stronghold of Security for your first 10k before you start these methods. I would say at most it takes about 5 minutes to complete the Stronghold of Security, and you get 10,000 GP as a reward, which is a very big amount as a level 3. I will leave a link in the description of this video on how to complete the Stronghold. I'm going to start off with what I think are the best methods right now to do as a level 3 to make money, and they're ones you guys have probably already heard of before. And the first one is just going to be simply wilderness looting. As a level 3, if you guys walk all the way up from Lumbridge to Edgeville, it's a 2-minute walk to get up there, and then once you're there, you can hop to World 318 or 319, which are the bounty hunter worlds, and out there you guys can collect loot that's left on the ground. Now this definitely isn't everybody's cup of tea when it comes to making money, because not everybody is a fan of PKing and not everybody is a fan of the wilderness, but you can't deny the fact that this makes solid GP per hour with no requirements whatsoever. Now the nice thing is that since you guys are a level 3, there's barely anybody who can actually attack you in the 1 to 5 wilderness levels that you guys are going to be at. If you turn your player attack options to hidden, all you guys have to do is just spam click on loot that's on the ground, and for the most part, if you guys have okay PID and you guys are there at least first to the pile, you guys are going to get the loot that's on the ground. Now while the PKers that are out there mainly don't leave any of the most expensive items on the ground, what they do leave on the ground are potions and food, and they can actually add up to a lot of money. What you can also find on the ground are stackable bolts, knives, and arrows left by people mainly from pure fights that add up in your inventory and can sell for a bit of money. Now the one con to this method is that there are many people who loot in the wilderness. Not only these people who are doing this method just like you are, but also people who have botted accounts out there trying to pick up all the loot that's on the ground. That being said, as long as you guys are paying attention, you're going to find loot on the ground, and that loot is going to hopefully be yours. In only 10 minutes of being out there on my level 3, I managed to pick up things like dragonstone bolts, sharks, amethyst arrows, and karam wands, and all of those add up to about 36,000 GP in my first inventory, and that only took me 10 minutes. In my opinion, while people don't exactly have the highest respect for looters in the wilderness, it is still an amazing way to make your first 100 to 200k. It only takes about an hour. Now we're going to stay here in the wilderness for our second method, and I believe that this method is the absolute best moneymaker that you can have on a level 3 account, and that is looting in the Revenant Caves. As you guys know, Revenant Caves is one of the biggest hotspots in the wilderness, if not the biggest hotspot in the wilderness for PKers and also for PVMers, because there are so many of them simply due to the Revenants being a very popular moneymaker. But what's so much better about the Revenant Caves for looting as opposed to the wilderness is that 1, there's a lot less people competing for the loot on the ground, and 2, the PKers and Revenants killers leave a lot of the loot on the ground. When I was recording footage for this video, I walked into the Revenant Caves, and within 5 seconds I had found a big pile of loot that was on the ground, and everything in there, potions, food, runes, all of it has value. I picked it all up on my level 3, I teleported it out, and it was 130k's worth of loot. There really is no other moneymaker in the game that you can have as a level 3 that is better than walking into 100k worth of stuff on the ground within 2 minutes of starting your trip. The great thing about this method is that it's really easy. All you guys have to do is just stand in the Rev Caves, hide in a corner, and wait for people to either leave their loot from the Revenants on the ground that you can then pick up, or wait for a PKing clan to roll through, wipe out all the people in the world, and then just simply pick up all the loot that they leave off the ground. With how often PKers are out there, you really don't have to wait a long time for the worlds to clear and all this loot to be on the ground. There are, however, a couple of cons to this method, and one is that since you guys are now in level 30 plus wild, it means that you guys are now vulnerable to being attacked by PKers out there, and there are in fact level 10s, 20s, 30s that do actually attack level 3s out there to try to get your loot. The second con is that you ideally want to be wearing a bracelet of Ethereum, and these bracelet of Ethereums can go to about 40 to 45,000 GP in the Grand Exchange. Now what these do is that when you fill them with about 5 to 10 ether, it means that when you're out there, the Revenants won't attack you one bit. If you guys don't have the bracelet on, the revenants will begin to attack you. And as a level 3, the chance of you surviving an attack from the revenant is pretty low, so ideally you want to have this bracelet on. And again, if you guys do get attacked by a PK and you do die, it means that you will lose the bracelet because it's a guaranteed drop on death. Now, in my opinion, the best time to do this method is after you guys have made enough money to afford something like an Amulet of Glory, so you guys can teleport out of the Rev Caves in level 30 Wild, and also maybe have a couple 100k in the bank so you guys can afford to have a couple bracelet of Ethereums in the bank, so in case you guys do happen to die, you can buy a Revenant Cave teleport, which goes for about 20k in the Grand Exchange, teleport all the way up to Rev Caves, and then run back to Rev Caves and start your looting adventure once again. But again, you can do this as a level 3 straight off Tutorial Island. You can just run up to Rev Caves, loot an inventory of stuff, run back, and ideally, you know, depending on what you loot, have at least 100k in an inventory, which is very, very nice, especially as a level 3. Now, I'm sure some of you guys watching want to know how to make money in somewhere that isn't the wilderness, which I totally get, so now I have some methods for you that don't require you to be in the wilderness. After you guys have gotten your 10k from the Stronghold of Security in Bar Village, simply walk south to Sarah's farming shop in Falador and trade her. She has these things called compost packs that she sells in her shop, and you guys want to buy 4 of them with the 10k that you have. Simply walk up to the Grand Exchange after you guys have bought them and open up all the compost packs. Each one has 100 compost that you can then sell to the Grand Exchange for a nice bit of profit. One trip of buying compost made my cash tag go from 10k to 17k, and with that 17k you guys can now go back to Sarah and Falador and buy even more compost packs. On my second trip back, I bought 8 compost packs, which I then sold on the GE for 27,000 GP, which means that within about 7 minutes, my cash tag has gone from 10k to 27k. If you wanted, you could continue selling and buying these compost packs to the GE and actually make okay money per hour, especially for a level 3, but something that might be even a bit better is actually using compost potions on those compost that you bought. If you guys didn't know, using compost potions on compost actually turns it into super compost, which sells for a lot more GP on the Grand Exchange. I bought 5 compost potions and then 20 compost from the Grand Exchange for a total of 5,780 GP, and after using all the compost on the super compost, which took about a minute, I actually sold all of the super compost, all 20 of them on the GE, for 14.6k, which means that I made a profit of about 9k in just a couple of minutes. So if you guys don't mind doing a bit of clicking on all these compost potions and compost, you guys can actually make about 250k an hour simply using compost potions on a compost as a level 3. What I like about this method is that it's very consistent. You guys know that you're making money every time you do this. However, you do have to pay attention to the GE prices because sometimes it can go up or down depending on what the market's like. Another great way to make money simply buying stuff from a shop as a level 3 is to buy pineapples from either the Gnome Stronghold or the Charter Ship people. If you want to do this method, you guys have to make your way from Lumbridge all the way over to the western side of the map, and the easiest way to do that is to go to Edgeville, use the Wilderness lever, and then use it again, and you guys will end up in Arty. Once you are in Arty, either walk north to the Gnome Stronghold and make your way to the 2nd floor, or walk south to Port Khazard and make your way to the Charter Ship people who are on the docks of the charter ships. Now, there are a couple differences in these two areas. The Gnome Stronghold pineapples only go for 2 GP each, which means that you guys can actually buy more of them in the Gnome Stronghold. However, the Gnome Stronghold pineapples are heavily botted. There are many bots hopping around buying these pineapples. So usually if you guys are hopping around trying to find pineapples, you're only going to find 4 to 5 in a world, which means that you're going to spend more time hopping and it's going to be more and more frustrating. However, like I said, they're only 2 GP each, so they're a bit cheaper than the ones in Port Khazard. The Port Khazard pineapples go for 5 GP each, so they're 3 GP more, which doesn't sound like a lot, but at the end of the day, it's actually, it's going to add up to less pineapples if you are doing this method at the charter ships. But, however, the thing is, there are not that many bots in these areas that are buying out the pineapples, so each world usually has about 15 pineapples, which means that you're going to end up buying these pineapples a lot quicker, and then you can sell them to the GE a lot faster. I spent about an hour and a half at the charter ships in Port Khazard buying pineapples from the charter ship people, and I ended up with 1,985 pineapples, which I then sold for about 335,000 GP on the Grand Exchange. As a level 3, simply buying pineapples to go from 10k to 335,000 GP in about an hour and a half doesn't get much better than that. This next method is the only method that has some type of requirement, and that requirement is to have level 10 crafting, which really is not that high of a requirement to have. To get level 10 crafting on a level 3, all you guys really have to do is simply do a couple quests to start off. For example, Sheep Shear and Goblin Diplomacy can both be done on a level 3 and give you crafting XP. You guys can also spend some of the 10k you make from your stronghold on buying something like leather from the GE, which you guys can then turn into stuff like leather gloves and leather boots, all the way up to level 10 crafting. I know there are some guides out there that say you should do something like opals all the way to level 10 because you can sell them back for more money. However, the chance of breaking an opal is very, very high as a level 3, so you're actually going to lose money doing that method. Now, the nice thing about the bowstring method is that since flax are so cheap, even if you spend 9k out of your 10k on getting 10 crafting, you guys still are going to be able to buy a lot of flax. Buying 50 flax on the Grand Exchange cost me 84 GP, that's right, a grand total of 84 GP, and then I turned them all into 50 bowstring in the Lumbridge Castle. There's a bank on the 3rd floor of Lumbridge Castle. All you guys have to do is go up there, bank, getting your flax and your bowstring, then go down 1 floor and use the spinning wheel to turn your flax into the bowstring. It's a pretty quick process. It's actually kind of an AFK method as well to make money, which is very, very nice. And since you're such a low crafting level, you're going to be getting crafting XP doing this as well. The 50 flax had a value of 84 GP, like I said, and then when I turned them into 50 bowstring, all those bowstring had a value of 4,508 GP. So we made over 4,400 GP profit in a couple of minutes just turning it into bowstring. If you do this method consistently for 1 hour, you can do about 1,200 flax to bowstring in 1 hour. So if we look at the price of 1,200 flax, it's 3.6 thousand GP. And then if we look at the price of bowstring, it's 193,000 GP. So an investment of 3.6K turns into 193K on a level 3 with 10 crafting. I guess you guys could say that the con of this method is that maybe it's too AFK for some of you. You want to be playing something and actually paying attention, but for some of you, the AFK-ness actually might be a positive. But in my opinion, something like this, only having 10 crafting and making about 200K an hour, that's pretty great. Another way to train your skills and make money at a low level is actually to catch polar kebbits in the polar hunter area. All you guys have to do is buy a new swan from the Grand Exchange and also buy a Camelot teleport. Once you guys have those things, teleport to Camelot and make your way all the way north to the northern part of Relica and walk your way to the polar hunter area. If you see a hunting expert in white polar fur and you guys see a bunch of logs around and snowdrifts around, then you're in the right area. Now the method of tracking polar kebbits is pretty simple. It can be a little bit frustrating as a level 3 because you don't always catch the polar kebbits, but again, it's an early way to train your hunter, which for some people they would prefer to do. They'd rather train a skill and make money than get no XP at all. To track these polar kebbits, it's pretty simple. All you guys have to do is look for the holes that are scattered around this part of the map, and when you inspect the hole, a set of footprints is going to appear leading to somewhere else on the map. After inspecting the hole and the first set of footprints have appeared, you guys have to inspect the surrounding objects to see if you can continue finding the kebbit. Now these objects can be the snowdrifts around, you can inspect the log, you can inspect the holes in the mounds of snow. Pretty much try to inspect everything that is around where the footprints have led. So for example, if the footprints lead into the big snowdrift, try to inspect the log near the snowdrift or the small pile of snow near the snowdrift. Just try to inspect everything that is near where the footprints went. Now eventually the footprints will lead into a snowdrift and you'll have the option to search and attack the snowdrift. When the footprints lead into the snowdrift, you guys can attack it, and if you successfully catch the kebbit, you guys are going to end up with raw beast meat, bones, and of course the polar kebbit fur. The raw beast meat can be dropped because you don't need it, and you can just bury the bones to get some prayer XP, but you're going to hold on to the polar kebbit fur. Now even though it says that the polar kebbit fur only goes for 153 GP, you guys aren't going to be selling those to the GE. You're going to be turning all of your polar kebbit fur into polar camo tops. Now getting a full inventory of polar kebbit fur won't take you an insane amount of time, but since you are level 3, you are going to occasionally fail catching these polar kebbits, so it might be a bit frustrating for you, but if you do end up with a full inventory of polar kebbit furs, it'll probably take you about 45 minutes to an hour. Once you guys have your inventory of polar kebbit furs, home teleport to Lumbridge and get out 26 of these polar kebbit furs and then the rest of your cash stack from your bank, and then make your way north back to Varrock. Once you guys are in Varrock, head to the southeastern part of the city and trade the fancy dress shop owner and buy out every single polar camo top that you can. It only cost me 260 GP to turn all of these polar kebbit furs into these polar camo tops. Each of these polar camo tops actually go for about 3.5 thousand GP because they are very popular for pure fights in the wilderness. If you guys take all of your 13 polar camo tops to the GE, you are probably going to get about 45,000 GP. Now again, this completely depends on the price on the Grand Exchange. Occasionally when I've done this method, I've made upwards of 100K. This was a while ago, but sometimes you make less, sometimes you make more. Again, it depends on the market and how much it's going for. I wouldn't highly recommend this method to make money simply because you aren't making that much money per hour. However, you are training your skills as a level 3 and making money, so I figured I would put this one in. If you guys are looking to loot to make more money, but you don't want it to be in the wilderness, you guys can actually loot at the ZMI Altar on World 327, aka the Iranian Altar, and actually pick up the runes that people drop for some okay money per hour. To get to the Iranian Altar as a level 3, once again, head to Edgeville and use the Edgeville teleport, and then run south from Artie all the way to the ZMI Altar. The first place that you guys can loot is here on the outside of the ZMI Altar, where people will teleport to once they have crafted the runes. Now, if you guys didn't know, the Iranian Altar actually gives you many different types of runes when you craft your pure essence. Now, while most people will keep the high value runes, there are some people that will drop runes like astrals, cosmic, nature runes, death runes. These all add up to a decent amount of money when you pick them up. All you have to do now is just wait about a minute and you'll start to see the runes appear on the ground. Now the main runes you're going to see are things like fire runes, water runes, mine runes. You guys know the runes that really don't have that much value, but since they stack in your inventory, you guys don't really ever have to bank, so simply just click on the ground, pick them up, and you guys will have them. The second place that you can loot is actually at the altar itself, which in my opinion is the best place to loot. Make your way down the ladder and then run through the course all the way over to the ZMI altar. Be careful here because there are things that can kill you on the course, but once you get to the altar, you're completely safe. Now recently, ZMI has become very popular with high-level players because it's the best RC XP per hour here if you guys have pure essence runners. And these people who will stand at the altar will actually drop all of their valuable runes. I'm talking, the nature runes, the death runes, the blood runes, all this stuff you're going to find from these people here. If you guys are lucky enough to click on the stack first and pit is on your side, you're going to collect some valuable runes. And like I said earlier, the fact that all these runes will stack in your inventory means that you never have to bank. You can technically stay here forever and pick up as many runes as you want. A con of this method, however, is that I did find that there are other level 3s doing this as well. So there are other people here trying to go for the runes on the ground. So you're going to have some competition when doing this. However, if you guys do this at certain times of the day when there's less people on, there's actually less competition for the runes, so it might be better to do it then. I'm personally not the biggest fan of this method simply because I don't think you're going to make that much GP per hour. However, the thing is, as level 3, if you guys are looking for runes on your account or you're looking, again, just to make an okay amount of money per hour and doing something really not that difficult, the ZMI looting method might work for you. The last method I have for you guys is actually the one that is the most risky. In fact, you can actually lose money doing this method, but if you're a fan of gambling, it actually might work out in your favor. The method here is planting mithril seeds that you buy from the Grand Exchange. If you guys didn't know, mithril seeds, when you plant them, there are a bunch of different flowers that you can get: red, blue, yellow, purple, orange, mixed, assorted, and then the black and white flowers. Each mithril seed goes for about 100 GP on the Grand Exchange, so you guys have about 100 chances here to make your money back after buying all of these mithril seeds. Now, there are only 2 flowers here that you can actually make your money back on, and those are, like I said, the black and white flowers. However, the chance of getting a black and white flower from a mithril seed is a black flower, it's 2 in 1 in 1,001, and then for a white flower, it's 1 in 1,001, so about 0.1 and 0.2% chance. However, if you guys do get lucky with this, the black flower goes for about 45,000 GP on the GE, and the white flower goes for about 150k. So technically, if you guys plant 1 mithril seed and you get a white flower, then you have made about 150k in 10 seconds worth of work. Again, the chance of that happening is extremely low, about 0.1% chance. However, if you guys were feeling risky and hot and you guys like gambling, then this method might be for you. I put this method in simply because while it isn't exactly the most consistent money per hour, there are people who have done this to make money as a level 3. And again, it is possible to make money, it's just rare. This is definitely the method that I recommend the least, simply because, like I said, the chance of you making money here isn't exactly the best, but it is possible, so I decided to put it in the list. Alright guys, well that's going to finish off the video today. 8 different ways to make money on a level 3 account. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys did make it this far into the video, thank you for watching so far. I hope I could help you out. And if you guys do like this mix-up of videos, don't forget to drop a like and a comment on the video. And if you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It does help me out quite a bit. Thank you guys again for watching. If you guys have different ways to make money on a level 3 that you think I can make a part 2 of, or even free-to-play ways to make money on a level 3, let me know in the comments or send me a DM on Twitter, and I'll make sure to put it in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you next time. Have a good one, and peace.
Wow.